Hello friends, good morning. This is a new start for me and for you as well. As you can see by the title of the video, we are going to start a programming tutorial. Now you might ask me that there are millions of tutorials, both paid and free, available on YouTube and other educational websites and apps. So how is this going to be any different? At the same time, you might have your own programming experience or no programming experience at all. You may also have some guides, teachers, elders, seniors, and also your managers who might ask you from time to time to write a piece of code or to increase your coding efficiency. Now for this tutorial, what I am trying to do or what I am trying to impart you is the knowledge that I have gained over the years from all these sources, from my teachers, from my elders, from my seniors, and also from my managers who I have worked under. Right now I am working in Chennai as an embedded engineer, mostly programming side, software side, and the main reason why I wish to impart the knowledge that I have gained is to clear the concepts, the basic concepts where most people lack. Now, the concept of programming is actually a very daunting concept for most people, as if they treat the programmers like they are hackers or they have some divine knowledge or divine ashirvad, as we say in Hindi, that they have some divine blessing and they can understand the binaries and the complex computing languages and complex computing commands. But at the same time, we have built the computer. Computer has not invented humans. So what I mean by this sentence is that if you can put in effort at the right place, at the right spot where you lack in understanding, that is the main focus that you should be lasering on, pointing on. Laser focus, as they say, that's the phrase that everybody speaks about. Have laser focus on your objectives, have laser focus on your aims. So before you start this course or start watching the videos that I'll upload from time to time, before you go on to the next video or the next upcoming playlists that I'll put up, you have to ask a question to yourself. How much do you know and how much do you wish to know in future? Because this thing is not only available or not only valid for computer science or information technology. It is valid for any subject, be it academic or be it related to your day-to-day life. When you put the full stop to your growth, that's where your radius of knowledge, your circumference of knowledge ends. So this course, again I would like to affirm that this course is not only for the ones who are beginners or maybe in school, high school, college, engineering institutions. This course is also for those who are working professionals, who have been away from coding for 2 or 3 years due to their work not involving programming. So the best way to revise is to brush up the basics, and the best way to learn something is once again only through basics. So, as you can see on the screen, I have started an IDE, which is called an Integrated Development Environment. And you can see the name is Dev C++. Now, this environment also incorporates the development of C programming language, and I must inform all of you who are watching this that this tutorial will only be concerned with the C programming language. Now, the main focus of this tutorial is to teach you programming logic, and to get to the nitty-gritties of that idea, beyond programming logic comes thinking, analytical thinking. Now, you can copy paste a piece of code from a tutorial, from your textbook, from a resource available online, or as they say, the Sanjeevani booty of programmers, Stack Overflow. You can copy paste it, you can put it, you can integrate it with your existing code, or you can use that as the base of your code, and your code will run, it will do the job. But what if you are asked any question on that? Or let's make it more simpler. What if you are told to make some changes, some additions, some minor modifications in your code? Now, if you blindly copy paste something, or when I code on this playlist in future, if you blindly copy what I am typing, it's not going to help you. It's absolutely not going to help you. What I am teaching you is basically 10% coding, 90% thinking. Now, people say that how can you teach a person to think? He only knows, he has learnt the art and the science of thinking from his childhood. How will you make a person learn how to think? Now, once again, this is a very complex question. I'm not going to teach you to think as if what you should do about global warming, or what you should do about the other world problems. I am teaching you, or I'll try to teach you, how to think analytically, how to face a problem, how to convert that problem to programming logic. And that is where C programming language comes in. Now, the choice of programming language, I could have used Python, Python, Java, C, C++, Ruby on Rails, PHP, JavaScript. Millions of programming languages are available. I totally invite you, or encourage you to study that, to write code on that, write some projects on that. But at the same time, programming involves thinking as its base. It's like you want to construct a skyscraper, but if your foundations are wrong, the building won't be able to stand even one story. And if you want to build a building of 100 stories, it will fall like a pack of cards. So, programming logic, for developing programming logic, for developing the thinking, the way to approach a problem, I believe is that you should take up a programming language which is easier to learn, and once you learn it, it will help you to learn more complex programming languages with better data structures available in them, So C is, you must have heard, everybody must have heard this sentence, either from their seniors in college or from their project managers, from their HODs. Like C is the mother of programming languages, right? Everybody must have heard this sentence. Now, does it mean that there was no programming language before C? Absolutely not. People used to code in assembly languages, which you might or you might not have heard about. I mean, if you are in second or third year of college, or if you are working as professionals in the industry, you must have had some experience on microcontrollers and microprocessors and the register programming. So all that is assembly level programming. So why isn't assembly language called mother of programming language? Now the thing is, in C, what makes it different from other languages that came before it was a programming structure. You need not use assembly instructions like ADD for add, or SUB for subtraction, or MUL for multiplication. You need not store the values of variables in registers. C does that for you. The C programming syntax does that for you. It tries to make programming simpler to read, to understand, to comprehend as to what this code actually does. I mean, I can show you 100 lines of code in assembly. It will have instructions like add for addition, move, MOV, to move the value into a register, or load to bring the value from a register. But until and unless you have either written the code or you have a hell lot of experience in writing assembly language, you won't be able to look at that code and understand in, say, 2 minutes or 3 minutes as to what this code is actually doing. And this is what it is. If you see cricket for first time, you will see a person running in with the ball in his hand, trying to hit a batsman or hit the timber behind his batting stance. It will feel very, what should I say? It will feel very illegible, or you won't understand what's going on at the first glance. Is the bowler trying to hit the batsman? Is the bowler trying to injure the batsman? Is the batsman trying to defend himself from the attack? Or and why does he have pads all over his body, from helmet to the elbow guard to the pads to the shoes, right? Why can't he just open his helmet? Why can't he open his pads and run? Because wearing pads and run is very difficult. It will impede his speed. So C programming language makes us to understand the code written, and once you read through that code, more or less 80% you will be able to understand what the code actually does. And secondly, most of the operating systems written today, be it Windows, it's written in the C programming language. Most of the other compilers for other programming languages are using C and C++ in their backend. And this is the vital basic reason why C is called the mother of programming languages. There are many that came before C, and obviously there will be many that come in future. But C has a special magic around it. And to think and to code in C will help you to think and code in any programming language that you take up, be it JavaScript, or Node.js or Python, Java, C++, C, C sharp. So let's get down to thinking. Now, what is critical thinking and what is analytical thinking? I'll give you a very, very, very small example. The example is, which is the C programming 101, which says just print 10 numbers on the screen. I just want to see 1 to 10 on the screen. Now, how would you do that? How would you think of writing 1 to 10 on a screen or on a notepad or your exercise copy? You'll take a pen in your hand, and everybody who is watching this, I'm definitely sure, obviously, that you know how to count from 1 to 10, right? So you will write 1, then 2, then 3, and so on up to 10, right? Now, did you do that out of habit, or did you have to apply some thinking to it? Obviously, the answer is choice number 1. You have been practicing to count since probably your kindergarten days, right? So, to do this trivial or a very basic task of writing from 1 to 10 doesn't take much effort. Actually, your pen in your hand, it feels like it knows what it has to do even before your brain can process that. You just write 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. Your brain seems like your brain automates that task for you, right? Now, when I tell you, or when anyone tells you, hey, you wrote that on an exercise book, well and good, write a code for it, make the program or make the processor do that for you. That's where many people find difficulty as to, let's say, I'm writing a code. Now, don't worry, I'll teach you what this means, what every single word on the screen that I type right now means. Every single word, the meaning behind the word, the meaning behind why these words exist on the screen, everything will be taught with full effort and to the best of my ability. But right now, what my aim is to make you think. Don't look at the screen, or don't look at the words like include, stdio, or main, void, int, those curly braces that nobody seem to do, that everybody finds it difficult to write with a pen and paper, right? So my question to you is, can you write the code to print the numbers 1 to 10 on the screen as easily as you can take a pen and write it on paper? Now, this is the objective of this course. This is what I want to teach you, that first you develop your thinking, and once you develop your thinking, you develop your programming logic. And once your programming logic is as strong as concrete, you will find that writing with a pen is almost equal to typing on a console or typing on a keyboard to write a piece of code, right? And this is the main objective of this course. Now enough of chatter. I have been talking to you for the past 20 minutes, And so let's get started, right, on how to approach this problem of printing 1 to 10 on the screen. Now we can do this, right? Printf 1 and a semicolon to ensure that the compiler understands that this is the end of the line, right? Now before we go to printing 1 to 10, let's print just 1 on the screen, and then we will go deep into the problem. Because when you were writing with your pen on a paper from 1 to 10, you write sequentially, right? There is a sequence, there is a logical sequence that we have been taught from our childhood, that 1 comes before 2, 2 comes before 3, 3 comes before 4. So you can't randomly just type or randomly just, write. You have to follow some sequence, a logical and universally accepted sequence, right? Now you will ask me, what is this printf? What is this bracket for? What is this double inverted commas for? Now printf is a function which is used to print on the screen. Print, as you know, it means to show on the screen in computer terms, and the letter F stands for formatting or formatted. Okay, now the parentheses indicate a function. Now what is a function? In maths, around somewhere in class 10 or 11 maybe, you must have heard the word functions, mathematical functions, right? Functions need an input to give you an output. For example, a sine function, right? Sine 30 is 1 by 2. We must have we must be aware of the sine function, the cosine function, the tangent function. So what happens there? You give the sine function a parameter, 30 degrees. So you write in brackets, right? The parentheses or the first brackets or the round brackets, whatever you may call them. So the sine function takes in the argument or the parameter as 30 degrees, right? Or if you prefer radians, pi by 6, where pi is 180 degrees. Now when you write sine 30, the fraction half automatically springs to your mind. Or if you are weak in trigonometry, or you have not studied trigonometry yet in your academic career, just take a calculator and type sine 30 in it. You will get 0.5 or half on your calculator screen, right? So what's that? What's happening there? Now sine is a function, a mathematical function, which takes in the value 30 degrees and gives you an output, half. Similarly, if you give the value sine 90, 90 is the argument or the parameter here, right? So sine 90, the output will be 1, or the result of that function will be 1. So in C, or in any programming language for that matter, a function carries the same meaning. It may or may not have some inputs, and it will do some task, a predefined task, right? So the task of this printf function is to simply print with the suggested format, right? So what I want to print on the screen? the numeral 1. And how do I want to print it? These double inverted commas that I am pointing the cursor here, these double inverted commas indicate that it is a string. Now, to understand what is a string, you must thoroughly understand what are numbers and alphabets and what are special characters. Okay, numbers is anything from 0 to 9, right? And an alphabet ranges from A to Z, and obviously capital A to capital Z. Similarly, we have special characters like exclamation mark, the asterisk, the caret or the XOR sign, the ampersand, the modulus or the percentage. We have the dollar, we have the hash, we have this tilde, right? So these are all valid characters. Now, a string simply means a collection of characters, right? Now we have understood what a character is. A character can be a numeral, an alphabet, or some special characters, right? And what is a string? It is a collection of characters, like we have studied one, many, mango, mangoes, right? Man, men, woman, women, right? So similarly, a character is a singular entity, and a string is it may be a singular or it may be a plural entity, but a character is specifically a singular entity, right? So when I write here printf, I want the number 1 to be printed on the screen, and the formatting should be as a string, not as a number, right? And this is the argument as a parenthesis to the function printf, and then we end the statement with a semicolon right here. In any programming language, there are punctuations, right? The exclamation mark, the question mark, the comma, the inverted comma, the double inverted comma, the colon, right? In English, we use the period. We use the period or the full stop to indicate the end of a sentence. Similarly, to indicate the end of a statement in C, we use the semicolon, right? Now, this much should be perfectly clear. Whatever I have told you till now about this single line of code, printf in brackets, inside inverted commas, double inverted commas, 1 and then a semicolon. There should be absolutely no doubt on that. I'll take another 30 seconds to just revise what we have learned till yet. Printf is a function. We want to use that and print just 1 on the screen. A function may or may not take an argument, and it does a predefined task. Now for printf, the task is to take this 1 and put it on the screen, and to indicate the end of a sentence, we have put in the semicolon, right? Now I'll just save it. I have saved the code, and now we will run this code, right? This is good enough. Now let's run it. We use, here it is, the compile, or we can also use the keyboard shortcut F9.